घर संसार में आपका स्वागत है। आपका अपना छोटा सा स्वर, जहाँ प्यार भरे रिश्ते पलते हैं, जहाँ हेल्थी रहने की सलाह दी जाती है, जहाँ हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहाँ स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना।
In this bulletin, trunk line fixed, order remains. Residents and vendors frustrated at sewage spill. Fijians urged to take advantage of relations with Indonesia. And construction of new bar hospital to start next March. Good evening, I'm Akusita Tale and you're watching FBC News. While the damaged wastewater trunk line at Nambua has been replaced, the odor and effect on the environment and the public has been overwhelming. Watisoni Rekanroka reports this could have a long-lasting impact.
This river was once a source of food to residents here and the nearby areas. The effect of the sewage spill experienced in the last few weeks is still evident. Semi Nangatalebu from Rewa says they've seen dead fish in the river almost every morning after the spillage.
Fish, crabs and mangrove eels have been dead since last week, and this week when the spill continued, I can see them in the mangroves on my way to sell.
For a roadside fish seller, sales had dropped and it does not augur well for his family.
Before they were using the river water because it is a clean water. When it was dirty and it was smelling, and some of the people come here, they just stop for a while, they just go, they don't want to get off. And plenty people come and ask us that you guys are catching fish over here in this river. They are thinking that we are selling the fish from that river. And we explain to them this fish you can't find it in this river.
The Water Authority of Fiji says they have applied aerobic digestion, a process that uses oxygen to neutralize water to reduce the smell. Residents, however, say the odor remains.
Since they have repaired the pipe temporarily, and sometimes we can still smell. Since now it's not smelling so much, but when it's windy, we can still smell the same thing which we were experiencing before. And I think I should thank them for doing this job for us since we are living here.
A government task force team comprising of the Ministry of Health, Department of Environment, Fiji Police Force, Department of Fisheries and others has been set up to monitor the situation until further notice. Watisoni Rekanroka, FBC News.
Fijians have been encouraged to make use of bilateral and multilateral agreements that Fiji has signed with other countries in the region and globally. One such area is the opportunity the Indonesian government has offered Fiji in terms of education. Since its opening in 2011, the Fijian embassy in Jakarta has strengthened relations and built its cooperation with Fiji. Following a number of memorandum of understanding signed between the two nations, Fijians are encouraged to tap into educational opportunities provided by the Indonesian government.
We have about 46 alumni, 40 plus alumni that have been to Indonesia on 3 months course and 1 year courses, and they understand the culture, they speak the language, Bahasa, and in fact 3 of our locally engaged staff, not diplomats but locally engaged staff, alumni of this Dharma Siswa program.
Since 2002, the Developing Countries Partnership Program, a scholarship offered to postgraduate students from developing countries, allows students to study at one of the Indonesian universities for 3 years, which includes 1 year of studying the Indonesian language.
We've just had 4 that have completed their master's program, and that is an ongoing exercise. Apart from that, we have also memorandum of understanding. For example, we have the special planning or town and country planning with their counterparts in Jakarta. They've just had discussions and a training program, and they'll be offering scholarships for engineers, for special planning, for heritage, 3 per year for the next couple of years.
With a population of more than 240 million people and a growing economy, Indonesia's experience in market opportunities, consumer services, agriculture, fisheries production and education are potential areas that Fiji is keen to tap into.
So this is something that we need to grab hold of and fully utilize for the capacity building, for training, manpower development for our people. And that is what bilateral cooperation is all about. We enter into government-to-government arrangements with the memorandum of understanding, and there are aspects of it that we need to utilize.
These bilateral agreements and understandings, not only in Indonesia but other countries as well, needs to be utilized as it will help the economy, national budget and Fiji's development. The $30 million new Bar Hospital is expected to begin construction in March next year once a contractor is selected. 6 companies, 4 local and 2 overseas, have been shortlisted following a tender process. Eleanor Turangaivu reports.
The new hospital will be constructed at Club Court and is a public-private partnership between the government and the Bar Chamber of Commerce.
Car park is going to be here, and all that area on top is going to be the hospital place. Around 4,500 square meters. Okay. So just more than an acre basically on the hospital.
But it's a single story for the time.
Yes, single story. Single story kept it because of the convenience of the patients, and as soon as you got double story, then you need to have lifts. Accessibility becomes much more, and the cost then goes double.
The Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum was given an update during a site visit earlier this week. $7 million is being allocated for consultancy and civil works, the first stage of this project. $17 million is for the second stage, the construction phase.
It's due by Feb 11, but most likely because it's such a massive project, they might need another 2 weeks. So.
Meanwhile, the new accident and emergency complex at the Lautoka Hospital is taking shape. Construction work is expected to take 62 weeks.
Accident emergency department, presently we've got 4 beds. So with the new one, it will increase to 12 beds. And it will be more spacious, and also will help us with the free flow of patients as they come in into resuscitation, those needing acute treatment and the non-acute.
The new complex costs $12.4 million and will contain medical equipment worth over $1.2 million. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has congratulated Shinzo Abe on his recent re-election as Prime Minister of Japan. In a congratulatory note, the Fijian Prime Minister says he looks forward to developing the Fiji-Japan relations following the re-election. Bainimarama says he is convinced that during Abe's term in office, the relationship between the 2 countries will deepen further. He says while the government will continue strengthening Fiji's bilateral relations with Japan, it will also assist in developing Japan's relations with Pacific Island countries. Bainimarama says Fiji and Japan have before them similar tasks, goals and challenges which will intensify bilateral relations to promote peace, security and goodwill in the Asia-Pacific region. The search is on for 2 people who left Vivia Island for Nayau in the Lau group but failed to reach their destination. Police say the 2, a man aged 38 years and a woman, left Mambula on Christmas morning. Yesterday there were still no signs of the boat or the duo, and a report was lodged with police. It takes an hour to reach Nayau from Mambula. Mariners are also requested to keep a lookout for the 29-feet white fiberglass boat and call police if they locate the 2. Meanwhile, a 56-year-old woman lost her farmhouse in a fire on Christmas morning. The property at Bulileka in Lambasa was completely destroyed with its contents. No one was injured. The cause of fire is not known at this stage, and the cost of damage is estimated to be $6,000. Police are once again pleading with property owners to be mindful of fire hazards that could be a serious safety threat. Domestic airline Fiji-Link expanding its horizons with plans in place for next 5 years.
Yoni vorong tu mai na radio Fiji 1 totoka tunan raki na ngona ni ko ni takini ni nandoba tu mai na ngono go me ga ben na ruana no bin karabi na singale ni ko ni sambula binaka oya wana kamana langi na makia na bi mataka mai na diwa kina rua na bi singale bo mai na moniti kina vorong boka na radio Fiji 1 nando mai biti bonga ni bi ni adu.
यू ट्रेन से मिर्ची एफएम पर रफ्तार में मैं यहाँ आपके हम सफर साथी कृष्णील शामिल हो चुका हूँ और फिजी में विदेश में आप जहाँ कहीं पर भी हमें सुन रहे हैं कृष्णील का प्यार आप तमाम दोस्तों तक पहुँचे। हेलो गाइस, मैं हूँ डीजे कृष्णील। आप हमें सुन सकते हैं मिर्ची एफएम रफ्तार में मंडे टू फ्राइडे शाम 3 से लेकर रात 7 तक हम आपको रॉक कराएंगे। मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट। अब दिल करता है हौले हौले से मैं तो खुद को गले लगा।
Welcome back. Domestic airline Fiji-Link is working towards achieving its 5-year strategic master plan. With the recent inclusion of the second ATR 72-600 to its fleet, the airline has been able to identify many new opportunities. The latest ATR 72-600 is part of the airline's strategic plan to increase its fleet size to 25% by 2017. While receiving the new ATR in Toulouse, France last week, Fiji-Link General Manager Shainaz Vor says it has enabled them to find new opportunities and more jobs for locals.
We've got a great progression plan in place now, and that basically means that a lot more job opportunities for pilots coming out of the flying school. They get onto the twin otter aircraft, they do their training there, then they move on to the ATR, and from there to the jets.
The additional aircraft will also support the company's capacity in the Pacific Islands region by 86.6%. This will push the need to increase its technical crew, the pilots.
On the ATRs, all our all of our first officers are local crew, and they're just gearing up. They're under training, and some of them will obviously move up to captains, and the others will be going on to the jets.
While 2014 has been challenging, Voss says the airline hopes for a smooth flight next year.
When you introduce a new aircraft, it's always difficult because you have a lot of training to do, and so that you don't always have the crew available, the full complement, because they're out training, and our training is done in Singapore at this time, because that's the only place, the closest place to us for simulators. So, we've had some challenges with our on-time performance, but, come January and from there onwards, we should not have any issues at all.
The 5-year master plan will not only grow the airline's network and provide employment for Fijians, but it will help drive Fiji's tourism and the economy. 2014 has been an overall successful year for the business community. While there has been the usual ups and downs, generally retailers are happy. Ritika Pratap reports.
The Fiji Retailers Association says 2014 has been a good year and envisage 2015 to be even better.
I think the business climate in Fiji is good, so people are still trading, people are still buying, you don't find empty shops. These are all positive signs. When we start having shops which close down and then they don't reopen, so those are the negative signs. So you'll have that kind of thing.
Himmat Lodhia says sales have been good, especially during the Christmas season. New businesses have also opened in Suva this year.
As new space becomes available, there's new shops just spring in, and everybody wants to come into business, and we encourage a lot of small and medium businesses to come in. We'd like to see more mom and pop shops come up, which is good. And we as the Retailers Association, we support a lot of mom and shop operations.
The business community will need to change their mindset in the new year, as major tariff adjustments have been announced in next year's budget.
A lot of shops all around Fiji selling luxury goods definitely have to readjust themselves to get into the market. So how they get into the market, how they orientate themselves, and so it's going to be suddenly we have a new game, new field to play.
The influx in investments, especially in the real estate sector in the city, is expected to further widen the profit margin, and the Retailers Association is already seeing a successful 2015. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Government is calling for expression of interest from small and micro enterprises or SMEs for the National Export Strategy Funding 2015. The funding aims to assist exporters to overcome barriers to trade and secure new markets. $2 million has been allocated for this initiative, which is hoped to increase exports and improve balance of payments and foreign exchange earnings. The National Export Strategy has, over the past 8 years, supported 58 projects amounting to over $9 million. Applications must be submitted to the Ministry of Industry and Trade by Friday, 27th February 2015. The decentralization of services at the St. Giles Hospital in Suva has allowed for more people to access psychiatric services. It's also earned Fiji an award at the Pacific Island Mental Health Network meeting in Auckland, New Zealand, ahead of 19 Pacific Island countries.
The move to decentralize services began in the 90s, but has developed great momentum in recent years with the introduction of the 2010 Mental Health Decree. This has put Fiji as the leading mental health service provider in the Pacific, which was recognized at a recent regional meeting.
In 2010, that's when a mental health decree was formulated, which replaced the Mental Treatment Act. The Mental Treatment Act focused only on admission, discharge and treatment at the St. Giles Hospital. The Mental Health Decree 2010 opened out this possibility to enable, in the decree, enable the Minister of Health to declare a facility as a mental health unit.
The decree also allowed the establishment of stress management wards in the divisional hospitals. While progress has been steady, Dr. Mbukoto says there is a serious need to strengthen services that they offer to the public, especially rehabilitation.
We have some services already in place, but these services are at the very basic. We still have to strengthen these services.
He added it was encouraging to see that some doctors are taking up post-grad diplomas on mental health offered at university level, and nurses are getting more training in the area. The ultimate goal is to improve services across the board at all divisional hospitals to benefit the public. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Coming up in sports, all the action from the EPL games from today.
Great words there from Lucky Dube and Baban. I hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you. On Gold FM, only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
Bula FM nambang dua na serane wasi ningo na ni batara ni sibiti ko weekend na diwa en na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ore beng rabi na nantang nongo kanda na dapat ko anin ro na kaloko en ay kaben din debo ni na tay wali ni may dapat ko na wani matakabo kan lib serti ko na biser talio ni na namaka do batit ko may kina na kenan daw ro ko di kanamaki Bula binaka Ayaw salami lawa dopa te kia wana bakatara ne wani viona kaloko moni tiki no barumbuka ena Mbula FM number 2 ena sere.
Welcome back, you're watching FBC Sports. Super Rugby's latest Fijian recruit Seta Tamanivalu says he hasn't decided on whether he will play for Fiji or New Zealand in the near future. The ITM Cup Player of the Year in New Zealand is being tipped to take Super Rugby by storm next year.
I don't know, not sure, can't look too far. I think it's gonna work hard and try to play some good footy for Super, for Chiefs next year, then see what happens. The chances will be or Fiji or the ABs, so hopefully one of them.
Leaders Chelsea tightened its grip on the English Premier League football's top spot with a commanding 2-0 win over West Ham this morning. Chelsea looks set to finish 2014 at the top of the table, and the quality of their performance suggested they may well still be there in May. Meanwhile, Manchester City scored 3 first-half goals and survived a snowstorm as they beat West Brom to stay 3 points behind leaders Chelsea. The win was City's 9th consecutive victory in all competitions, equaling a club record and keeping the pressure on Chelsea, who had beaten West Ham earlier in the day. And Arsenal remain within touching distance of the Premier League's top 4 after 2-1 victory over Queen's Park Rangers. The Gunners will be happy with the win because the side missed a penalty and also lost a player through red card. The future stars of the National Rugby League competition in Australia have been put through a learning process about the top grade. The youngsters who are set to become stars and internationals in the future were taught about the importance of being in the big league. Fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. There were brief showers in Suva and Savu-Savu by the afternoon. Suva and Savu-Savu recorded lows of 28 degrees. Lambasa had the highest on the temperature chart with 32 degrees. Tomorrow it should be fine in all centers in the morning. However, by the afternoon there will be brief showers in Suva and Savu-Savu. There will also be a possibility of showers in other centers. Further outlook, some showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorms elsewhere. A strong wind warning remains in force for Fiji waters, east to southeast winds 20 to 25 knots. Rough seas, moderate southeast swells. Just a quick recap of our main stories today. Trunk line fixed, order remains. Residents and vendors frustrated at sewage spill. Fijians urged to take advantage of bilateral relations with Indonesia, and construction of new bar hospital to start in March next year. Now on to our poll question. This week we ask, are the prices of food and groceries this festive season reasonable? Visit our website www.fbc.com.fj to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizensize@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all from us today. Join us again same time tomorrow. Good evening.
If you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Smoking packs, drinking spirits from the doctor's lab. Even got that homebrew